Aloha friends, it's Robert Stehlik with Blue Planet Surf, and today's video is going to be a recap of the Molokai to Oahu paddleboard race. It's considered the Paddleboard World Championship, and it started as a prone paddleboard race, and then about I think 18 years ago or so they started adding a stand-up paddleboard division, and this video is going to be mostly focused on the stand-up paddle side of things. I've done this race I believe now 13 times on a stand-up paddleboard and also 3 times on a wing foil board. The wing foil race or the foil race was the previous weekend, and so I did this channel crossing 2 weekends in a row, which was super exciting. And I'm going to start with a little recap of the whole race, and then I'll go into more detail later on. But this is showing the morning of the race, getting ready for the pule. Tyler had a GoPro camera. Tyler is doing this for the very first time. This is the pule prayer on the beach before the race. Everyone's getting ready, putting their stuff on the boats, and getting ready for the start. And this was Tyler's first time. He trained with us during the training season, and I think he improved his skills a lot. But this race is really tough, and I think he realized that he needs to train even more next year. It was definitely challenging, and the conditions weren't the best that day. The wind was kind of light. There wasn't much wind pushing us across, and then also the currents weren't great, especially in the middle of the channel. It got real slow for a while, and so even for me, a veteran, after doing it 13 times, it was not an easy race. It was a real grind. And then this is the finish coming around Port Lock Point. You finish at the Hawaii Kai keyhole, which is close to the boat ramp in Hawaii Kai. So the last part, paddling into the bay in Hawaii Kai, is kind of into the wind. So that's also a hard upwind challenge, but at least the water's smooth by then, and you're definitely happy to once you come around the point that you're in smoother water. So here's some of the prone paddleboard finishers. And it's an amazing accomplishment to do it on a stand-up paddle, on a prone paddleboard. I feel like I've only done it on stand-ups. That was Hasuke, the Japanese finisher, and when you come across this finish line, it's just a huge feeling of accomplishment. Very emotional. It can get very emotional, obviously, and just being able to complete this race is it's a big mental challenge. And that was Katrina Maddle, the first place finisher in the women's stock division, and this is Charlie Verco from Australia winning the men's unlimited division. So Charlie got a nice welcome from his family. This is the 3rd time he's winning the men's unlimited stock division, so congratulations, Charlie. Well done. He's an amazing athlete. Maybe he'll get to 10 wins like Jamie Mitchell. So this is me coming in towards the finish in Hawaii Kai. I was just really beat and just jumped in the water. It felt nice to cool off a little bit. My wife was there with a lei and a cold drink, and then was able to get some food and just rest up. So it's a really good feeling to finally finish. It was a super tough race. It took me 6 hours and over 6.5 hours, and that was first place in the men's stock division and 3rd overall. So there were 2 unlimited finishers in front of me, and I finished first in the men's 14-foot division. So I was super stoked with that finish. The second time in 2 years, I won the men's SUP stock division. So 6:32 was my time. Year before, I did it in under 6 hours. So it took me half an hour longer, even though I think I was paddling pretty well. Felt pretty strong all the way through. I never had any major issues. So it was definitely a tough year. Kind of slow conditions. Even last year, I thought it was pretty tough. Okay, so here we are back on the day before the race. I'm going to go into a little bit more detail. This is my escort boat. Kanai was my escort captain. Thank you, Kanai, for taking care of me out there. Tyler picked up the board for me the day before. I got there kind of late, but they got there in time for the race meeting, and then a beautiful sunset. From Molokai, you could see the sun setting over the island of Oahu. Beautiful sunset, and the sky was very clear. You could clearly see that's Portlock Point there in the distance. That's where we were paddling to, and you could clearly see the island all day, the night before, and all day during the day. And Eli said that if you can see that, if it's that clear, that usually means that the wind's going to be light. So, and sure enough, it was really light. So, but at least we were on stand-up paddleboards. If this had been the weekend before with the foils, especially on a wing foil board, you can't really do much without wind. So I'm glad it was not the other way around, because that would have ruined the previous weekend where wind forecast was also kind of light, but then it ended up being pretty good conditions. A lot of stuff to do in the morning before the 8:30 a.m. start. And then about 10 minutes before the start, Tyler had his GoPro camera and we chatted for a bit.
Morning, we're here at the Kamehameha Highway start. It's 8:20, so in 10 minutes to the start. Everyone's excited and fired up. How are you feeling, Tyler?
I'm feeling great. It's such good energy out here.
Yeah. Have you seen Brad Feldman?
I haven't seen him just yet.
Yeah, I think we've heard his name called a bunch of times, so hopefully he's going to be.
Yeah.
There's a power outage last night at Kaluakoi, so.
Right on.
My phone died and the alarm didn't go off, so hopefully he didn't oversleep or something.
We'll be thinking about him. Look at all these prone guys. Wow.
Yeah. It's like, I think, Jimmy, what do you think? Like 10 years ago, maybe there was like more stand-up paddlers than prone paddlers, yeah, at one point. But now it's the other way around.
Right on.
We're the minority. Yeah, it looks like the wind's still in light conditions, but I think it's going to fill in a little bit. We're going to have some trade winds anyway.
Right on.
So maybe kind of a nice, not so rough crossing. Drones in the air.
It's a beautiful day.
It's your first time, so good luck.
Thank you. You too.
Fishing line rigged up for your rudder.
Rudder came out nice. Works good. You'll have to inspect it later. Thanks, you too.
Okay, so just a few minutes after that conversation, the horn blew, the race started. I don't have a lot of actual footage of the race itself, but I do have the race tracker, so I'm showing that here. I also have a link down below of the Dot Vision race tracker, and in this case I'm just only showing the stand-up paddlers just to make it easier to follow. This one doesn't have all the prone paddlers on the race tracker, but really cool to watch. Mind you that most of these trackers are on the escort boats, not on the actual person. So sometimes the boats will make a loop around. That doesn't mean that the person's paddling backwards. But yeah, in this case, I just chose the stand-up paddle division: SUP stock male, SUP unlimited male, SUP stock female, and SUP mixed open. So Hayato Yamamoto and Tim Oliver got ahead pretty quickly. They were on the unlimited boards and were kind of getting ahead of the pack. And then I was on a 14-footer along with Spencer Bailey from Vermont. He was also a really strong paddler and kind of keeping up with me and passed me a couple times. But I just try to conserve my energy. I know it's a long race, so I wasn't gonna go out too hard. I always tried to make sure I have enough energy left for the second part of the race, which gets pretty hard. So I found I was able to kind of catch some ocean energy, catching some bumps, but it's not a straight downwind run, so you can't just run with the bumps. You have to kind of catch the bumps and then ride them a little bit to the right, and just kind of try to stay north. That blue line there is the rum line, basically from the start directly to Portlock Point. So usually the goal is to stay a little bit north of the rum line or on the rum line, like Tim Oliver's captain just kept him paddling right on the rum line. And I'll have his interview later on where he talks about that. But somewhere in the middle of the channel at about mile 17 or 18, that's to me that's about the halfway point. I was out of water. My first water bag was empty, so I got a refill from the escort boat. She jumped into the water, handed me my other water bag, and then I just exchanged water bags. So it's real important to have the second bag ready to go, so that this doesn't take a lot of time. But there's a few things that I wanted that were in my first pack, so just switching out the water pack. This was really kind of the only longer break that I took for the whole 6.5 hours. Sitting down for a moment. I did fall a few times, and usually when I fall, that's when I have a little bit of nutrition, eat some gels or something. But other than that, I'm trying to just do the whole thing standing up and keep going, and just kind of drink regularly every 10 minutes or so, every mile. I'll try to take some liquid or as needed, and then eat something whenever I can. So, and then this is Mao Kamimura. She was the only female solo paddler in this race, and she is actually amazing. She finished second overall in the stock division. Basically, she was behind me in second place, and she was the first place winner of the women's stock division, and also has won the women's stock prone division. So the prone paddle stock division, she's won that before as well. So she's really an amazing athlete. Brad Feldman is one of our training partners. He's done this race many times. Terry Stevens also is a longtime paddler. Ryan Rains was doing it for their first time, like Tyler and Rod Rogan. Tyler, around mile 26, I think he said that the boat kind of told him he's not going to finish in time, so he just gave up, which I think he maybe regretted a little bit later, but he got on the boat and took the boat in. Brad Feldman, so officially the cutoff time is 7 hours when you're supposed to be at Portlock Point. If you don't finish it, then you're supposed to get DQ'd and get on the boat, but Brad always finishes no matter what. So Tim Oliver finished first, and then Team Canada came in, and then I finished first overall in the men's stock division, so really stoked about that. Then Bailey Spencer finished shortly after Mao Kimimura, and then Kevin Horgan, we talked to him the night before. He's also an amazing athlete. He's done the race, I think he said 18 times. So he was the first stand-up paddler to do the Molokai to Oahu race. He won it the first few years. So really amazing. And he said that he takes seven water bags with him. So he plans for paddling up to 7 hours, and he usually gets a fresh water bag every hour. So for me, I just was able to make do with 2 water bags, and that was enough for this race. But if I had to go much longer, I would probably need a third bag at least. So so there's several people. This now on the time it shows 8.5 hours. So 8.5 hours of paddling in rough conditions it's really tough. But here is Maddie from Team Canada. So that's my friends Jason and Jane. They had a 3-person team. They passed me somewhere along the way too, and I was trying to keep up with them. Came in not too far behind them. This is the unlimited second place finisher, Hamato. And then I was finishing on my 14-foot board. I like to kind of come around the side of the bay, a little bit in the wind shadow. But man, coming across that line feels good after paddling for 6.5 hours. So I felt really exhausted. There's my escort boat in the back, the big Blue Planet flag. Jimmy Martindale says he always follows that flag and looks for it. So really nice to come into that finish with people cheering you on, and friends and family were there. Oh man, it felt good to just drop into the water and cool off a little bit. It was a hot day, even with the wind blowing in your face at the end. I was pretty sore, but actually my body was pretty good. Years before, I've had really bad cramping. This year I didn't have any major cramping, so felt pretty good. It was solid. And there's my wife Sharon. She brought me a lei and the smoothie, so that was great. Really nice. And then really stoked to finish first place in the men's stock for a second time. I got the Haku crown. The first place finishers get that tea leaf crown, basically. So super stoked and really happy to be there at the finish. And then I did have an interview with Tim Oliver, so I posted that last week, but let's listen to what he has to say.
Aloha, I'm Robert Stehlik with Blue Planet, and I'm here with Tim Oliver from Canada.
Yes, sir.
So we just finished the Molokai race. How did it go?
I would probably say the hardest paddling event I've ever done in my life, and also one of the slowest out there this time around. At least it was a grind beyond grinding, I think.
Yeah, it definitely was not a fast year for the Molokai race. So, but you won on the unlimited, and then there was the Japanese guy. How close were you guys at the end?
So we went out together, and
I saw you kind of taking off, both of you.
I took luckily the advice of my boat captain, who was obviously dialed in, and he was kind of more on a straight line shot. And I think Hayato wanted to go further north, so right away my captain was like, no, stick on this kind of line, and I think it ended up being pretty good. And I think about maybe halfway, Hayato kind of came back to the line that we were on, but then I think he detonated after that. So I just kind of steady as she goes to the finish line.
Yeah. So I mean, I think like last year it was a lot faster, but then the end was really tough. It was really rough at the coming into Portlock, and then this year it was actually pretty calm. I mean, it was never really got crazy rough conditions at the end. So actually, for me, like my miles were really slow, kind of in the middle of the race, and then I got faster again at the end. Was it the same for you?
Yeah, that's exactly what kind of happened to me, and I think like you had mentioned, I was mentally prepared for craziness and was pleasantly surprised that it was actually pretty mellow when I got up to China Walls in that whole sort of area. So
yeah, I mean, last year coming to Portlock, I fell in, like I couldn't stay on the board for more than a minute because it was so crazy. And then this year, I think I only fell once in the last 5 miles, so definitely a total different race today. But really tough conditions. I think like much slower times than last year or other years that I've raced it.
Yeah, I almost ran out of nutrition because I had planned for 5 hours, and I was 5:50, I think, or close to that by the time I crossed the line. So
okay, 5:50. Yeah, I was like 6:20, but on a 14-foot. So still got me the crown too. So stoked to pull it off again. And Tyler was also shooting some video, but I think I saw that he didn't finish. So I think he might have had some trouble with his rudder or something like that. And then there's still a lot of guys out there on the water. So I think just finishing today is an accomplishment. So
sure.
Congratulations to him.
Yeah, thanks very
much,
Robert.
All right.
Cheers.
See you later. Okay, aloha.
All right, so I hope you enjoyed this recap of the Molokai to Oahu race. Thanks so much for watching. Please give it a thumbs up and make sure to subscribe to the Blue Planet Surf YouTube channel. We'll see you on the water. Aloha.